Hello and welcome back, artists and designers. Today we're going to talk about two different techniques that people frequently want to add into their Dia de los Muertos skull. So let's go ahead and add this first one here, which is kind of this flower design on the outside edge. Now this is actually made out of two shapes. There's one here with a stroke on it and then one right here. So we could do this with radial symmetry. I'm going to show you how to do it with a circle so that we can apply it as a stroke, or with a dotted line so we can apply it as a stroke. So let's go ahead and make a ellipse. So I'm going to go ahead and make an ellipse here, and again the shape doesn't matter too much. Now I'm going to apply a stroke to it. So I'm going to pick the same color, this kind of orange color, and let's go ahead and crank up that stroke, make it nice and thick right here, and I'm going to zoom in here so that we can see what we're doing. Now here's the key. I'm going to click on the word stroke. And in this menu right here, I'm going to go down to dashed line. So as soon as I click on that, we're probably going to see some dashes here. So if I crank that number up, you'll kind of see those make that dashed line, but I want the rounded line. So I'm going to go up here to the round cap, and as soon as I do that, it's going to add that round cap onto it. And here's the weird part. We want the dash to go all the way down to 0. So if we bring that back down to 0, then the dash is going to come out as a circle. And you can experiment with how far apart do you want those circles. So you can go further apart, and that's with a gap, or you can bring them a little closer together. Usually what I find is whatever your stroke weight is here, the gap, if you want them to touch, should be about the same. So if this is going to be a 20-point circle, you're going to see them touch at that 20-point gap right here. So 0 for the dash, the rounded cap, and the gap. Again, that's going to be dependent on how close together you want those to get that effect. And you can crank that up, and now you can apply that to anything that you draw is going to have that, whether it's a circle or a rectangle or whatever. I just took basically that same image to get that in front. Now I know there's another way to do this, but if I take that and then I just turn off my stroke profile, I can put that in front, and that's how I get that kind of half circle look there. And then I might take that, group it, and there we go. Okay, let's move into our spider web that we want to add into this. So I'm going to start with a polygon, and I'm going to make a triangle. So 3 sides. Thank you, I will. And I could do this with the pen tool. And if I wanted to be more exact, I could, but I'm going to go ahead and take that, rotate it 180 degrees, and let's just apply a stroke and no fill. So I have that stroke and no fill. Okay, now that I have this triangle created, again, I'm not worried about how precise this is. I'm going to go up and do my object, repeat, radial, and I'm going to get that radiating around, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this in a little bit closer. So let's get that right in the middle, and then let's see if we can crank this up and get this a little bit closer together. So I'm at 11, 12 gets me pretty close, and I'm overlapping at 13. So again, if I made this a little bit more exact, I could get it to work, but I'm just going to do this simple version. So 13 works. So you can get it as close as you want. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to, take my selection tool, and I'm going to double click on one of these essentially petals. So click, click, let's get in there. And now I'm going to edit this one. So I can go ahead and just take my direct selection and move this over a little bit. And look at that, boom, I pretty much get my more or less perfect grid there. I'm not too worried about that. Okay, I'm going to leave that. So let's add the web part. I'm going to use our good old friend, the pencil tool. And the only thing I found here is that I'm going to uncheck, double click on the pencil tool, uncheck edit, select paths. That way it will allow you to create new ones. So I'm going to hit OK. And now I'm just going to start making my webbing. So I'm going to go ahead and drag out and connect that back up. Boom. And I'm going to repeat that process. And you just kind of keep working your way through this. I'm just drawing with the mouse right now. Of course, you get more exact with the tablets and do kind of whatever you want, add some more personality to this, but this is a quick and dirty way to go in and create this webbing. And if I wanted to, let's say, get rid of the top one, I could always grab the curvature tool, or I could grab my direct selection tool, click on that, and then hit delete. And that should leave me more or less with what I want right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and exit out of that. And there we go. We got our nice little web design, and that can go into an eye or anything else you want. I could make that white. Ooh, how would that look if I made it white and then put it over top of that? Neat. Okay, so have some fun with that. This one is essentially using the stroke menu and choosing the dashed line. You play around with that. And doing the web, you just create that triangle, edit that in radial symmetry, and go ahead and draw your little webbing inside of that. So good luck, have some fun exploring that, and I look forward to seeing what you create.